I understand from conversations that we've had that you also you were, I guess, ripped out of your own background.
Yes.
In terms of you were on the reservation, I assume, when you were a young child, and you were taken away to a boarding school, and that's fairly typical of people of your generation, correct?
It's typical. Most people thought this happened in the early first half of the 19th century, right? Or excuse me, 1900s. It happened up until in 1988 and continues in more of a legal way with the Indian Child Welfare Act, where a lot of Native children are adopted, fostered out, or just plain taken away from the parents because of the economic plight of most Native people in the West, where I'm from, in South Dakota. Whereas we are non-casino tribes in the sense that we are held under the stigma that we are rich as Native people because Native people have tribes, have casinos, but we as one are the poorest people in the Western Hemisphere behind the people of Haiti only. And as a young child, part of the government policy was to take the children away to teach them, acculturate them into another society of America. Basically the motto was, and still stands somewhat in my mind, that to kill the Indian and save the man is the policy, so that we don't retain culture, we don't speak our language, we don't think differently than what Americans are taught, mainly by their educational methods, and also a disconnection to the land. I think that's the main theme about why natives become American, is that we will leave the land so the rest of America can be had as private property.
Right. I know that I think it was Red Cloud, who was a chief, I'm not sure of your tribe or not, but Red Cloud, who said that the white man has made us many promises, and only one has he kept, and that is he promised that he would take our land, and he took our land. I mean, and that continued. I mean, that was part of the reason for the American Indian movement gaining strength in the 70s, right? Was because even though they had said, okay, this is your reservation, this is where you can stay, they recognized there are a lot of minerals and various other, valuable things on the land, so we're going to take more. I mean,
in that time of the 50s and 60s, when the multinational, in that case international, extraction corporations were coming onto land and doing exploratory drilling holes, and they discovered uranium and oil and gold and coal and all the precious minerals and reserves of energy that are on that America's worst lands that we were driven to or relocated to. Well, it was more than just that. It was of course, we attacked the culture first. We tell the kids that it's not good to be a native or an Indian. So that's drilled into the people. Then we become welfare state people, that we look to the handouts of America and the good people of America to help us along. And then we lose face because we weren't beggars in the first place, or thieves. It goes against our philosophies of life to be that. We always shared. We were fiercely self-sufficient as people. We didn't have concepts, of course, but so I think what happened with the U.S. government is to come and take that land away from Native people, but not give the rest of America the true knowledge of why they were doing those forced relocations because of the land.
Right. Okay. Well, not so much the land really as what was under the land.
Yes.
Right. And I think you mentioned earlier or within that last answer something about the worst lands of America. Well, to the average white person, I guess, or as I've described them, Euro-American, they might look at the Black Hills of South Dakota and see nothing but wasteland, or see a reservation where there are poor people, as you said, the welfare state, right? Whereas you view that as sacred land, right? And part of the reason for your outrage at the United States government coming in and wanting to take more of it is that those are your holy places. Is that right?
Yeah, the whole earth is holy to us as Native people. And in the 60s, again, if you add the fact that we had no religion or freedom of religion, we could not vote. Any resources that we had were inadequate. And so it was either a blessing in disguise that some of us did retain culture as Lakota people, to not have running water or to have any services that the rest of this country did have. I think most of us at that time were choosing not to, because we see and we have seen what it's done to the soul or spirit of the land and the people. As we understood that, we have a term for the type of behavior that described as greed. Is called washichu. Washichu meaning, and it could be anybody, not just a certain race.
Right.
But it means to takes too much or takes the fat. So we wanted to avoid that. Even today, there are people not wanting to be an American because, you know, when I go home, I'm teaching about the etymology of what these words like America mean in Latin form and Romance feminine form. Ame means the love of, Rica means riches. And when you become an American, you become one who loves riches. So it's very dichotomous to native, which is non-material, as to material. So you have these two philosophies in clash, in a sense.
Right.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.